I'm gonna do what you said. Lucas, once I get it popping, I'm gonna do what you said. I'm gonna click it off. You said just click it off once it comes on?
Yeah, once you verified it's up, you can just close her.
Okay, just close it or just shut it. Do that.
Just Lucas, get it popping. I want to do what you said.
Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll close out now. All right, cool. All right, that's wonderful. All right, let's go ahead. Thank you so much for that. All right. I would say this in particular week's Torah portion, it began off with me to, think about how I see things and how the Most High sees things. And let me see, is it shared or is it not sharing? Let's see. Hold on. What's going on? You're sharing the screen. Okay, good. All right, cool. All right, there it is. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
All right. So yeah, this week was it was interesting. I learned a lot about and earlier I taught this week about it being a command. It was something that Moshe was presenting the children of Israel with the laws, the statutes, and the commandments, but also too, he was telling them that he was setting before them a blessing and a curse, which we know what a curse is something that is considered to be less than nothing, to be considered worthless, and a blessing if they were to follow the commandments. And so when I read that, I was trying to figure out what it is the Most High wants us to see about this week's Torah portion. The last time I taught this, I talked about how the Most High was trying to open our eyes to see the things that the children of Israel are going through. And after reading this, I found that a lot of these things, chapter number 11 talks about the blessing and curse and how they're going to go into the land. Chapter number 12 talks about this place. He's always making this idea about when you go to this place that I was set before you. Chapter number 13, is talking about the false prophet and the dreamer who comes to get you to try to see an oath or see some other type of sign or some wonder. And then it talks about how, and later on in that chapter, how there will be people in a community that will begin to worship other gods, and what Yahweh sees as being, right from his perspective to go in and to destroy those people. Chapter number 14 talks about the diet and exactly what are the animals that one could eat and what they one should not eat. And also too, that chapter begins off talking about that you are a set apart people. You're chosen by the Most High Yah, that is supposed to be set apart. And so you're supposed to be set apart through your diet because you have an exclusive relationship with the Most High Yah. Chapter number 15 begins to tell us about this idea of what they would call the Shemitah, which is a time of release when the Most High is asking the children of Israel to release, their brother from their debts and their neighbor from the loans that they've made them, and how, you're supposed to release a Hebrew male or female servant. And then, and then also too, how you deal with the poor. Chapter number 16 then opens up and tells us about the Pesach, and it tells us about Matzah, and it tells us about Shavuot, and it tells us about Sukkot. So it mentions these three in particular festivals that the Most High wants Israel and them to show up, not only just males, but also their females. And so I was asking the Most High, like, what is it that you want me to see in these things? Right. And said, number one, you got to understand that the idea of seeing has to do with one's eye, which in Hebrew is called a ayin. Okay. An ayin. And that's actually the name of the Hebrew letter ayin. Okay. Which is right here. Those of you who are in my Hebrew class, you know what I'm talking about, but it's just a nice little refresher for you to see the ayin. This is right here. That letter right there is ayin. Okay. Ayin, and ayin is an eye. Okay. But it has more to do with how one has a certain awareness about what's going on around them. And so Moshe wanted the children of Israel to recognize what was going to be before them when they would go into this land. I need you to destroy the altars. I need you to destroy the pillars. I need you to destroy the images of their gods. I need you to go on all the hills. I need you to go through the mountains. I need you to go to under every green tree. And I need you to destroy these things and destroy the names of these gods in this land. And that's pretty significant. And so a lot of our Torah portion this week had to do with idolatry. Okay. But it also has to do with one having a sense of awareness and being keen, just like an eagle or any other bird of prey that's always watching, you know, what's going on, and they have a vision and they're very focused. So this Torah portion is about awareness. It's about a focus. And of course, in every Hebrew word that we look at, like for the eye, the parent root of that is called on. And there's certain words that are associated in our Torah portion this week that you're going to find. I'm going to bring it out to you this week. Okay. So ayin is the letter and it means the eye. That's what this actual letter means. It means to watch. It means to always have your eye on something. Okay. So agriculturally, the people that were in charge of fields and agriculture and animals and everything, they always had a watchful eye. They were very watchful about the things that were very important to them. And so they're always focused on what's before them. They're always focused. So when you think about, you know, vegetation, or you think about raising your animals or your sheep or your oxen and all the different things that the Most High was given to these people, they always had to have a watchful eye on it so nothing can happen to it, right? So the only way that one is able to do that, okay, is through visual observation. Visual observation is part of the eye. You use your eyes to do everything, literally, you know, you use your eyes to gain what they would call knowledge. Okay. So knowledge is only obtained through that which comes through the eye. Okay. So this is not something magical. This is not something mysterious. This is something that's just absolute truth. That when you use your eyes to read, you use your eyes to make, to perceive things. You have some perceptions, you know, you use your eyes to give you warnings. You use your eyes to, you know, look upon something and delight in it. You use your eyes for crying. You know, that's why one of the words for, that has to do with an eye has to do with the spring. Okay. It has to do with what they would call a spring. And the spring is like, you know, water that's welling up out of the ground. This light keeps going off. It's a spring. Okay. Let me write this out here. Can I get it? Spring. Okay. That's tripping. Yeah. Behave. Technical difficulties. You never believe it. There you go. It has to do with a spring. Okay. Something that's coming up out of the ground, which is water. And so what water comes out of our eyes? What's tears? Those tears can be associated with joy, or they can be associated with sorrow. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? That you can either have tears of joy or you can have tears of sorrow. Wow. Huh. That's very interesting. You see how the Most High has associated different things with your tears and with your eyes. It's like you can look at something. Listen to me carefully. If you get tears of joy from when you see something, okay, because remember, you see something, it causes you to cry, right? I saw the birth of my son, and I couldn't help it. I broke out in tears. I couldn't hold it back. It just came out. It was like a well that just a spring that just burst open, and I couldn't hold it back. Okay, so only reason why I was able to do that is because what I was seeing with my eyes. Okay, so you can look at things that will cause you joy, and you can look at things that cause you sorrow. You see, and as a response to how you're feeling and what you're seeing will determine on what the results will be. This is very important for us to understand. You have to guard your eyes, everyone. Okay. There are some things that we're going to be faced with in our lives that are going to bring us sorrow. When I read the Torah portion yesterday, I was like, okay, well, I got to put a presentation together. I never want to come without some information. But after reading everything, I became very sorrowful about our Torah portion. And you said, well, how is that? How is that possible, Dawid? It's possible because I recognize and I see that we're in bad shape. We're in bad shape as a people. We're in bad shape as humanity. It's not just for Israel in bad shape. I'm talking about the whole world is in a very bad state. We have gone away from the Most High, and as a result of that, the sorrow that we should have, it's like it's being downplayed. It's like we're replacing the things about sorrow with entertainment, and we're being entertained, and we're removing this out of our mind. We don't want to see it. It's like we're in denial about our situation. We're not living in the reality. Okay. So this next letter, this part of the word on, which is the root of the parent, it is a noon, right? So the father is the ayin here, and the mother is the noon. Okay. So the noon here is to continue. And it's a seed, right? That's what the letter noon means. And it means to continue. So when you put those two letters together, it means the eye of continuance, meaning a continual watching of the eye, a continual seeing of something and looking upon something. Often too, when one is intently looking at something, you know how when you're really focused, you get these like burls between your eyebrows, like when you're really keened and focused on something, your eyebrows kind of squish up together and it creates these little furrows, right? That right there has an idea of looking intently at something, but also too, it might be from depression. You know how when people look when they're sad and they're down, that actually can mean that as well, because they're continually looking at their situation and it makes them depressed, right? And one of the words for oppression too is called anon. It means to be depressed or to be humiliated, okay? And humiliation goes with that, which means to be humble. So Yah is letting us know, like, when you are going through your oppression, I'm sending you there in order to humble you, okay? So when we read in our Haftarah this week, the Most High says something that was very telling about who he is. He said, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways are not your ways. Two things in question here is Yah's mind, the way he thinks, and secondly, his ways, letting us know that Yah's ways are, as I spelled out earlier this week, as a path, which in your Torah portion, Yah says that dreamer, or that what they would call a Navi, which is a prophet, a false prophet, they're going to try to get you to go and leave Yahweh's ways. Not only is the false prophet going to do that, but someone who has a dreamer a dreamer. He could do that too. They're going to get you to leave Yahweh's ways. Not only is that the dreamer going to do this, but also too, he says your brother try to get you to go away from Yahweh's ways. Your son, your daughter, your best friend, and your wife. Okay. You see? Now, if the husband is already trying to get everybody off, if the man goes off target, then everybody else here is going to go off target. Do you get that? That's the reason why he's not addressing the woman, he's addressing the man. If you get off a target, men, your son is going to get off, your daughter and your wife. Everybody else is going to follow exactly what you're talking about. They don't have no choice because you're the leader. So the Most High is letting us know that in your family, you will be faced with, and you have to be able to see this. He's letting you know that not only that you can't trust anybody, I don't have a slide in here, but you really can't trust anybody that doesn't follow the Torah. That's the truth. You and I cannot trust anybody that doesn't follow the Torah. I'm speaking not only for myself, but I'm speaking on behalf of all of us who follow the Torah. You understand? Let me see. The world has lost the ability. Yes, they have lost the ability to understand the scriptures. Absolutely, they have, because they have forgotten who Yah is. Okay, so we can't trust anybody. Okay, whether it's your best friend, your brother, your sister, nobody. You can't trust them if they don't follow the Torah. They don't have anything to govern them. They don't have anybody to answer to. They have no basis of correction. Okay. So they can't. You can't go into business with anybody that doesn't follow the Torah. You can't. You can't marry anybody that doesn't want to follow the Torah. You can't. Yah asks, well, how can two walk together unless they be in agreement? This is a serious matter, everyone. When Yah says that my thoughts are not your thoughts and my ways are not your ways, he's letting you know that what I'm telling you is different from everything else that you're ever going to hear. I have a different path for you. And the path that I have is divine. It's a divine path. These are ways that are given to us from the Holy One of Israel, the creator of the heavens and the earth. Is different. It's not the same. In our Torah portion, we learn, it says, you will not do things the way we do them today, where everyone does whatever in his own opinion seems right, because you haven't arrived at the rest and an inheritance which Yahweh Elohim is giving you. I read that. I was like, well, he's talking to them. I haven't gone into the land. So what does this mean? How can I apply this? That's the thing. That's the challenge, everyone. When you read it this week, it probably had nothing. It said it had nothing to do with me. It has to do with the land. It has to do with destroying those people there. It has to do with a false prophet. It has to do with a city that has to be destroyed. It has to do with, bringing certain offerings and tithes and olahs and nidars, which they call vows, and free will and voluntary offerings to the Most High. I don't have any of those things. I haven't been at the place where Yah chose to have his name. So how does this apply to me? When it says whatever's in your own opinion seems right, it is talking about in your eyes. Not just in your mind, in your eyes. You receive information from what you see. Often right now, our people are doing what they see other people doing and saying it's right, because they haven't seen the consequences of the actions. When it talks about seems right, that word right means yashar. Yashar. And it has this word in it called ashar, which has to do with accord. C-O-R-D. Accord. And what they would do is they would make a cord between two tenons or materials, and they would braid that cord to make a rope. And in order to pull something or to bind something, to make something straight and to bind something. It means yashar means to be straight. Okay, it doesn't mean to be crooked. Our opinions and what we see today is crooked. It's not straight. It's not according to what Yah has said. I don't care how many temples you go to, or how many churches are out here, or how many rabbis, or how many teachers, or how many mores, or how many rabbis, or how many pastors. I don't care. They're crooked. And I'll prove it. If they're not saying what Yah has said, and they're not being honest, and they're not telling you the truth, that number one, you haven't arrived at the rest. Yah wants rest for his people right now. You and I are not at rest. Whether you want to believe it or not, no matter how well things are going for you, you're not at rest. Your soul is not at rest. You haven't inherited the blessing that Yah said he wanted to give to our fathers. We had it and then we lost it. And therefore, because we lost it, Yah says to Kuala, I'm going to make you worthless. I'm going to change your status in the earth. You're going to go from joy to nothing but sorrow. And now we're so used to the sorrow that we make up things to make ourselves happy. And we're doing what we believe that is right in our own opinion, in our own eyes. And that's where we're making our mistake. When it says lo ta'asum kola shera anoku or anaknu, diosim pol the hayom ish the kol the hayashar the ba'ena. Okay, that ba'ena right there, as you can see, is this word for ayin, in your eyes. The ayin and the nun. Going back to the parent root, talking about awareness. You and I believe what we're doing is right. We believe it's yashar. We believe that the things that we're doing and what we see in our eyes right now is that which is right, and it's not. It's not right. Let me continue to show us how, and I'm not trying to browbeat us. I'm just going to tell you this because this is what we are facing. This is the reality of our situation. When you cross the Jordan, which you and I are not, and live in the land Yahweh Elohim is having you inherit, which we haven't, and gives you rest from all your surrounding enemies, which you and I don't have right there, right? So you're living in safety, which you're not. Then you will bring all that I'm ordering you to the place Yahweh your Elohim chooses to have his name live. How does this apply? What did the Most High want us to see about this? Because surely you and I are not crossing the Jordan River. What Yah wants us to see is that he says, number one, you got to ask yourself, let's live in reality. We're not in our land. Therefore, we don't have an inheritance. Not right now. Okay? In the land in which he's talking about, they were going to be surrounded by their enemies, which he says, I got to get rid of those people so that you can live in safety. Because that's the goal, to bring you to rest and for you to be safe. Okay? Understand the situation. Right now, you and I are surrounded by enemies on every hand. And right now, you and I are not in safety. So therefore, Yah has not given you and I rest. Your foot will not have any rest while you're in the lands of your enemies. This is what I need you to be aware of. Also, I need you to understand that everything I told you to bring, you cannot bring to the place Yahweh Elohim chooses to have his name live there because you're not there. What's the significance of the place? Because Yah told us in that chapter number 12, okay, that it's about this place. He mentions this place that he chooses over 11 times. He keeps saying the same thing. Yahweh Elohim of the Bakar, he chooses to have his Sham, right? Shimsham, live there. He wants to dwell there. So why is he saying this? After he just told them to get rid of all their gods and destroy every one of them on the hills, the mountains, and under every green tree, is because Yah is letting them know that there is only one place on the face of the earth that you and I will be able to go worship Yah. Hear what I'm telling you today. I don't care about all these buildings that people are renting and leasing. I don't care about all the churches and synagogues that they're building. I don't care about how many homes and parks and recreation centers that people are going to gather everybody up and say that they're worshiping the Most High. You and I have downplayed Yah's holiness to, well, now he's in buildings that are contaminated with filth. And we say that he's there. We say that he's there because someone puts some letters of his Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh on something. They'll put it on a wall. They'll put it on a desk. They'll put it in the title of the place. They'll put it all over the place. And they'll say that this is where Yahweh's name is. They have moved Yah from what he said to what they said in order to get you to follow them. The internet is the best thing that could have ever happened to us. Now you're safe. You don't have to choose, well, I got to go and be part of this congregation in this church because that's where they say the Most High's name is. And the moment they say that's where his name is, then they're going to start making demands of you. Now you need to give money because this is where his name is. Now you need to pay your tithes because this is where his name is. Now you got to bring your offerings because this is where his name is. Now you got to show up on the Moedim because this is where his name is. Don't you understand that Yah's name is not in the lands of the enemies? If you and I turn around and we do something outside of what Yah says, you're denying the fact that he's Elohim. That he's the only one. And he has to sequester us. And he has to bring us to a place where we understand that he's not here. If we're honest and we live in reality, we won't start playing mind games with ourselves and trying to create something that doesn't exist. Moshe told him, be careful not to offer your burnt offerings just anywhere you see, but do it in the place Yahweh will choose. Yahweh will choose one of your tribal territories, which is Yehudah. There is where you are to offer your burnt offerings and do everything I ordered you to do. There. Let me confess to you, at one point in my early walk with the Most High, I wanted to please him. I was so eager to please him that I tried to justify, well, you know what? You know, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and so forth and so on. But what did he say? It's not about how you and I feel. It's not how you and I see it. It's not about what we see in our eyes. What you might be doing, you might think Yah is pleased, and he's not. Because it's based on your opinion. It's based on how you see it. People see things the way they want to see it. They'll see positive in something. They can also see the negative. It depends on what lens they have and how they're thinking. This is why the Most High says that my thoughts are not your thoughts and my ways are not your ways. We've gotten so common with Yah that all of a sudden he must be like us. He would be pleased with us if we open up a church. and we put his name on it, that would be honoring to Yah. Then we collect tithes. Then we could use that money and help the poor. And he'll be pleased with us. There's nothing about outside of what we're doing that Yah would be pleased with, because it's not according to what he said. Our Torah portion gave us another warning. Observe the month of Aviv. Keep Pesach to Yahweh your Elohim in the month of Aviv. Yahweh your Elohim brought you out of Mitzrayim at night. What night? It wasn't the night of the 14th. It was the night of the 15th. You are to sacrifice the Pesach. You are to sacrifice the Pesach offering from the flock and herd to Yahweh, your Elohim, in the place, in the Makom, where Yahweh will choose to have his name live. So, what are you saying, Akika? Are you saying that you and I should not look to keep the Pesach? I'm telling you this. You and I can remember the Pesach, but don't you try to replace any of the elements with nothing. Even a lamb that you got from somewhere else is contaminated. You might as well go kill an ox or kill a pig or slay or go consult an idol. That's what he said. If you're going to start doing things the way that you want to do it. Yah is very specific about what he has said. Because if you and I are going somewhere else rather than the place where he said, then you and I are saying that he does not live. You better hear what he just told us. The place is where his name lives. It's where his character's at. And if we go anywhere else, you're not worshiping Yahweh. You're not. You saying you can't have a gathering? You can have a gathering. You can have a gathering. But don't you ever make the mistake of saying that Yah's name is here. Yah is not in this place of filth. The total or the Torah this week talked about idolatry is one of the biggest things. And this is what he's talking to us about this place. He already told us when you go into these places, I need you to destroy all the places, the Hamakoth, which is like the Makom. I want you to destroy the places, the plurality of places. Hear what he's saying. He says that he has a place and they have places. Plurality. Yah is telling us that I'm Echad, I'm one. I will not be in several places. If I establish my throne in Jerusalem, that's where it's at. If I told you it's Yehuda, that's where it's at. If I told you that David and his sons are going to build it, that's what it is. I need you to destroy all these places. Have you ever wondered why there's so many different teachings and doctrines? It's because there's all these different places. And everybody's doing everything the way that they see it to be right. You can go to one Hebrew Israelite camp and they'll do it one way. You could go over to Atlanta and they do it another way. You could go over here in Sacramento, it's another way. You go over here in Texas, it's another way. All these places, and they're all claiming to be the same. Saying Yahweh's name is here. But there's no unity. There's no Akkad. There's no completeness. There's no coming together. There's no oneness of thought. There is none. There's no union. So they're dividing Yah up. They're dividing his words up. They're dividing the sanctity and the holiness of the Holy One because they want to do what's right in their own eyes. I need you to destroy all the places where these nations you're dispossessing serve their gods. I don't want you to get confused between me and you and me and them. I want you to understand where you need to go. So whether on high mountains or hills or under every leafy tree, you need to destroy these places. You must not do this to Yahweh your Elohim. Do what? Destroy his place. For they have done what they have done to their gods, all the abominations that Yahweh hates. Meaning, Yah's telling us, don't serve me like you serve these other gods. Now, when Yah sent us over to the land of our exile and the places where we're living and we're sinning, we're serving other gods. So all the stuff that you and I have been learning over the last several years or decades, and it's been given to us by our grandparents and grandparents' parents and so forth and so on, has been misinformation. Ideas about Yah has been misinformation. Number one, that his name is God. Number two, that the name of his son is Yeshua or Christ or Jesus. Number three, he killed the innocent so the wicked could go free. Number four, you can eat whatever you like to eat. Number five, you don't have to keep the Shabbat. Every day is the Shabbat. And some other things like God helps those who help themselves. You can't judge me, only God can. You know, stuff like that. For they have done to their gods all the abominations that Yahweh hates. They even burn their sons and daughters in the fire to their gods. So why would our Elohim decide to kill his son? If he was to give a son, why would he kill his son? And he condemned them and he destroyed them for killing their sons and daughters? What's the difference? Oh, it was on a cross. Well, this one was with fire. So he didn't use fire. He just had them nailed. Does that make sense? You better open your eyes and you better start paying attention. Listen what the Most High says in Jeremiah, Yehud 5:19. And when people ask, why has Yahweh our Elohim done all these things to us? What are you talking about, Akika? I'm talking about when Yah has done all these things to us. Yah has done all these things. You think it's your enemy. You think it's the white man. It's not the white man. You think it's the Arab. It's not the Arab. You think it's the Muslims and the Christians. It's not them. It's Yah. There's a reason why Yah has done all these things to us. He says you are to give them this answer because Yah has an answer for every question, just as you've abandoned me and served strange gods in your own land. So likewise, you will serve strangers in a land that is not your own. I highlighted these words because I want you to see the connection. Strange gods, strangers. Letting you know, going back to Deuteronomy 13, that they're going to try to encourage you to go serve another god, gods that you have never known. And because our ancestors fell for that lie, and they did not listen to the words of the Most High, and because they served other gods, not in the place where Yahweh told them, Yah says, I'm going to send you now to strangers in their land that's not your own. You see, it goes measure for measure. So strange gods is equivalent to strangers. So when you're serving your stranger, who are you really serving? You're serving strange gods. When you're in your lands of your exile, who are you serving? You're serving strange gods. And the people that are in charge of the strange gods are the strangers who don't know your God, your Elohim. So don't you get it mixed up and twisted thinking that we're going to go build this building like them. That's how they serve their gods. Oh, we're going to put a nice little children's center in there so we can really know that God loves us, that Yahweh loves us. So we'll have a children's center in there too. That's how they serve their gods. You see, we haven't been taught what Yah says. That's the problem. He's telling us, you need to serve me in the place I told you, not what these strangers are doing. So if you thought that, you going to church or going to a tabernacle or a temple or whatever it is that is good, like I did, I thought that until I opened my eyes and looked at it for what it is, and I had an awareness about the magnificence and the holiness and the set apartness of Yah and the majesty of the King of the universe, that he's not going to allow us to do what other people do. Jeremiah chapter number 10 tells us, it's not here in the slide, Don't you worship or do anything like the nations. You cannot be like them because I'm not their God. They don't know me. I need you to announce this in the house of Yaakov. I need you to proclaim it in Yehuda. Says, this is what he says. Hear this, you stupid, brainless people who have eyes, but you do not see. You have ears, but you do not hear. Don't you fear me? Says Yahweh. Won't you tremble at my presence like you did in Mount Sinai? I have made the shore the limit for the sea. By decree, eternal decree, it cannot pass. You talking about a coke? You talking about an eternal coke, a cocaine? Yes. So if that sea knows its limit, why don't you know yours? Its waves may toss, but to no avail. Although they roar, they cannot cross it. The vastness and the greatness and the power and the strength of the sea, it knows not to cross over the eternal decree that I gave it. This is the reason why I say that you're stupid and you're brainless people, but you have eyes, but you cannot see. If you just open your eyes and you go look at the water and see that it would only go so far, you should know that when I speak to you, I'm telling you what your limits are, and you shall never go past what I said. If I told you to come and worship me in one place, that's exactly what I mean. I'm not looking to make friends with nobody. I told you, if somebody worship another God, go in, make an investigation, find out if it's true. If it's true, kill everybody there. Every animal, every child, every man, every woman, and burn up everything so you can do what's right from Yahweh's perspective in his eyes. Because idolatry is dangerous. Idolatry has destroyed our people. Idolatry has caused us to be exiled to the nations across the world. You and I must take a stand against idolatry. We must take a stand and stand up for Yahweh's words, like we read this week in the Torah portion that told us for us to kum, to lift up and establish the Torah of Yahweh. Anybody who doesn't do it is cursed. You have changed your status to be worthless and worth nothing. You worship another God, it's over. For a long time, Yah says, I've held my peace. I've been silent. I've restrained myself. Now I will shriek like a woman in labor and panting and gasping for air. I will devastate mountains and hills, wither all their vegetation and turn the rivers and islands and dry up the lakes. The blind I will lead on the road that they do not know, and on roads they don't know I will lead them. I will turn darkness to light before them. I will straighten their twisted paths. These things I will do for them and not forsake them, because you and I are blind. We need Yah to lead us back on the road. When he says that I've been silent, I've restrained myself, now I'm going to break out like a woman in labor. What is he talking about? I'm going to devastate the hills and the mountains. The mountains and the hills with all their vegetation, I will turn the rivers and the islands and lakes will dry up. Why is he saying this? Think about your Torah portion. He told them to go to every mountain and every hill and under every green tree, thinking about vegetation, and destroy the remembrance of the names of their gods and their idols and their altars and their statues. All because you don't see them, people, doesn't mean that they're not here. There's places that the United States of America has a group of people that go to here in California where they go and worship their God. They worship their gods because you don't see the altars. You just haven't been invited. But these are the people that are ruling you. These are the people that are worshiping these gods and these demons that are in control of your life and your health and your safety and your food and your children and your education, your livelihood. Those are the people that are running things. Yah's going to devastate these places. And he's going to remove all the names of their gods. But he says, I'm not going to forsake you. I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to lead you. I'm going to turn this darkness that you've been walking on, this path of perversity and twistedness, and I'm going to change it to light. I'm going to straighten out those paths. Why? Why? Because no eye has ever heard. No ear has ever perceived. No eye has never seen any Elohim but you. Only Yah. Our eyes are the only ones who have ever seen the fire. The ears, they heard the lightning and the thunder and the voice that's coming out of the flame. He says, you work for him who waits for you. Are you waiting for Yah? Are you waiting for Yah? Huh? He says, you favor those who were glad to do justice. Those who remembered you in your paths, in your ways. Are you waiting for him? See, while we're in our exile, while we're in this place of defilement, Yah is angry. He's angry. Yashahu is telling him, like, we kept sinning. Even Yah's been angry since day one from the golden calf. They kept sinning. But if we keep your ancient ways, we will be saved. You and I will be saved. We and I will be delivered if we keep Yahweh's ancient ways. You know, the ways of the Shabbat. It's the thinking. It's how you see things. You see? It's how you guard. You say, well, Dawid, I'm limited. I can't do everything. I know. But Yah has a solution for us. And I'm going to share that solution. But you first must understand what the reality is. Those who trust in idols, who say to statues, you are our gods, will be repulsed and utter shame. Yah is going to cause these people who have been worshiping other gods and other idols to be repulsed. They're going to feel nothing but disgust. It's like eating something that you knew or didn't know that it was defiled. You didn't know that the meat that you just ate had feces in it. You knew it tasted a little weird, but you didn't know it had feces. See, that's what it's going to feel like when you find out that you've been worshiping another God. You're going to feel worthless when you find out that you've been worshiping another God. Okay? This is what the Most High tells us. You listen, you deaf. He's not lying to you and I. Look, you blind, so that you will see. Who is blind or is as blind as my servant? Or as deaf as the messenger I send? Who is as blind as the one I rewarded as blind as the servant of Yahweh? You know, the Christians don't like this when I go there and I bring them here because they want to say that Christ is the servant. And then I show them this and ask him, is this Christ? Is he blind? Did he ever say he was blind? Did it say that he was deaf? Did it say he was dumb? Did it say that Yah sent a deaf messenger? You're telling me Yah has sent a deaf messenger? Somebody that can't talk. Yah has a servant who's blind? Well, let's ask ourselves a question. When has the Most High ever accepted anything that has been blind or dumb? Now you can see why he tells us that I don't want you to give me an animal that's deaf or dumb. Why? Because it reminds me of my servant. And I'm not looking for the deaf and I'm not looking for the blind. I want that which is healed. You see? So when he talks about this deaf as the messenger I send, Yah has sent this messenger, but this messenger has not been able to deliver the message because the messenger is deaf and the messenger is blind. They can't even see. They can't see what, Dawid? What can't they see? You see much, but you don't pay attention. They see everything, a lot of stuff, but they still don't pay attention. You open your ears, but you don't listen. That means that you sit and you listen to everything that's being said. You hear it, but you don't obey it. Yahweh was pleased for his righteousness' sake to make the Torah great and glorious. It is the Torah is the message that the messenger was supposed to send. The Torah is to bring light to the nations. The Torah is great, is gadol, and is glorious, is kavodo. It is majestic. And so you have this deaf, blind messenger who's bringing something that's great. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't. Yah says, I got to lead you back on the path. In your Torah portion, there was this idea about protection that I want to cover right quick. The protection has to do with the social classes. There's several social classes in your Torah portion, and the Most High is always constantly making us aware of. The social classes are the Lewi, the foreigner, the orphan, and the widow, along with the poor and some others. Yah says, but don't neglect the Lewi staying with you because he has no share in inheritance like yours. I need you to be aware of this. I need you to see this. And at the end of every 3 years, you are to take all your tenths of the produce from that year and store it in your towns. Then the Lewi, because he has no share in inheritance like yours, along with the foreigner, the orphan, and the widow living in your towns, will come and eat and be satisfied. So Yahweh Elohim will bless you in everything your hands produce. Well, Akika, I don't know where the Lewiim is. We're not giving foreigners living among us and the orphan and widow. We got orphanages and we got people that are widows. So what are you talking about? How does this apply? Yah is telling us, I want you to open your eyes and understand who I am and what I will do. I will bless you when you're in your land and everything your hands produce. And the reason why I will bless your hands and everything you produce is for the people, is for the foreigner, is for the Lewi, is for the orphan, is for the widow, is for these people. So the next time we open our mouths about how blessed we are, you need to line up and see from Yahweh's perspective, are you doing these things? And the answer to that question is no. Are we taking everything that we have and giving to the orphan, the widow, and the foreigner in the land that we're in? No, we're not. Are we talking about shares and inheritance here? No, we're not. So what is Yah trying to tell us? Yah's trying to tell us something about himself. The way that it works is Yah's interested in protecting the vulnerable. I want to protect those who don't have anybody to protect them. I want you to know that the Lewi doesn't have any inheritance. They don't have any lands like that. They got some fields, but they don't have lands that they can, leverage, and they don't have food that they can grow out for the abundance of them. Their relationship with me is consistent with their service towards me, and I'm looking out for them. That's why I gave you the land. That's why I'm going to give you the land. The foreigner that's joined themselves to you too, they don't have any inheritance. So therefore, they're subject to being, at risk. The orphan, of course, has lost their father, and the widow's lost her husband. They don't have anybody to protect them. So I'm the Elohim of protection. That's the reason why I'm giving you the land, is to protect you. And I'm talking about food security. I'm also telling you, if someone among you is needy, one of your brothers in any of your towns in the land that Yahweh, which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you, you are not to harden your heart and shut your hand from giving to your needy brother. So what is he saying? He's telling us, look, I don't want you to be a evil, wicked person by shutting your hand from your brother. Where? In your towns or in your land. Akika, are you saying that I can't do this while I'm not in the land? No. What I'm saying to you is you have to be careful. Okay, listen to me carefully. When you give to somebody that's needy, right? In this land that you're in right now, more than likely you're at a higher degree of risk. Okay. You're at a higher degree of risk, meaning that you can't really implore or employ the rules of the stuff that's being taught here. You can't. Okay. Should you do for your brother? I would say yes. If he's needy, try to help him. Okay. But the laws of Shemitah and all these other laws that go along with this, your brother that they're talking about right here, he knows the Torah. He knows the Torah. That's the reason why I said if he cries out to me, it'll be sent to you, because he knows the Torah. He knows that the Most High blesses your hand in the fields. And when he's talking about giving to them, he's not talking about giving money. He's talking about giving food. He's talking about helping him, with oil. He's just trying to put him in a better position. And then also too, he's telling you know what? If things come worse to worse, this needy brother might have to be a slave to you. You might have to enslave him. That's what he's saying. You understand? So it's always about what Yah gives to a person. So what's over in this land that we're in right now, only thing you have is cash, and you could give out cash and you might get it, you may not get it back. You may not ever see it again. Does it mean that you shouldn't give? No, it means that, you may not see it again. You might have a brother who loves you and understands, and he understands the Torah. He'll pay you back. But you might have another brother who borrows from you. You'll never see it again. You might have somebody take advantage of you. You'll never see it again. And you have to understand that, because you're in exile. That's the risk that you're taking. So it's not that the widow, the stranger, and the fatherless are the only ones at risk in the land, in the Lewi. Here, while you're in your exile, you're at risk. Now you're the widow. Now you're the fatherless. Now you are acting as if you don't have anything. You're like the Lewi in a sense, because these are not your lands. You don't have no way to create no income for you and your family in a field. And none of that stuff. This is not yours. It doesn't go perpetual from generation to generation, where it's never taxed or none of that kind of stuff. Nothing. So in this sense, the Most High is letting us recognize that the social classes in which I told you to be careful to take care of, the reason why this is even brought up is because they did not take care of this. Because if they did, we wouldn't be where we are. And somebody tell me, why did they forsake the Lewi, the fatherless, the widow, and the orphan? Tell me why. Tell me why. What caused them to do this? Anybody?
Maybe they got selfish and greedy.
And what caused that, Samiyah? What caused that selfishness and greed?
It's in our nature.
Yeah, it
Or
could.
because I guess because they're not consistently following Torah.
Well, that's great. That's the answer. But who were they following?
Other gods.
Thank you. Bingo. They followed other gods that caused them to act this way. That's the danger. That's the reason why Yah said, go and wipe out the whole city. Because that will be a result of forsaking the widow, the father, and the foreigner, and the fatherless, and the Lewim. When you worship those other gods, all the food that you were supposed to save, now you're worshiping and taking those offerings and giving it to your gods on the hills, the mountains, and under every green tree, along with taking your children and burning them up too. Okay? Yes, absolutely, Claudia. We have been worshiping demons in those churches and the gods of the leaders of the nations. Absolutely. That's why the Most High said that you're unclean. Because these names of these gods have been, the moment that those names of those gods came out of our mouths, you guys, we've been defiled with those names. It's not like you can just wash it out with water or mouthwash. The moment you said J-E-U-S-U-S, that's the moment you're defiled. And you've never been made clean from it. So that's what Yah is trying to tell us. It's deeper. It goes deeper. You got to see this. He says, if your kinsman, a Hebrew man or woman, is sold to you, he is to serve you for 6 years. Why would he be sold? Because he became poor. But the seventh year, you're to set him free. Moreover, when you set him free, don't let him leave empty-handed. You supply him generously from your flock, threshing floor, and winepress from what Yahweh Elohim has blessed you with. It all is about the land. You are to give to him. Remember that you are a slave in the land of Mizraim, and Yahweh redeemed you. That is why I'm giving you this order today. Yah is using this idea of Shemitah, of release every 7 years, to remind you of Mizraim. Yah is telling you to give abundance like he did when the children of Israel left out of Mizraim. They left with gold and silver and chains and rubies and all kind of stuff. He draped them when they left. So he's saying, I want you to do the same thing from when your brother or your sister, when they leave your house, I want you to drape them too, because they went into servitude for you. And matter of fact, I didn't have a slide, but it says they were worth double than anybody else. That's because they're set apart for the Most High. You guys, are you starting to understand this? So the Most High is telling us that in order for you to remember that you're a slave. So everything that Yah is talking about these social classes and about protection. Remember it said he came to go get us like an eagle, and we were riding on his wings and he brought us to safety. It's because Yah is interested in protecting his people. Yah is going to protect us. Here's another point of view. This is something I want you to see, okay? And we'll end with this. In Psalms 94 and 1 through 2, it says this: Elohim of vengeance, yo, hey, wah, hey. Elohim of vengeance, appear. Assert yourself as judge of the earth and pay back the proud what they deserve. Why are you showing me this? Because Yah is coming to avenge his people. He's coming to judge the earth. He's going to pay back everybody what they deserve. Okay? So don't get upset when you see it. Okay? It says, how long are the wicked, Yahweh? How long are the wicked to triumph? How long are they going to win? How long are they going to do the victory lap in the dance? Who are the wicked? Huh? Here's the wicked. They pour out insolent words. They go on bragging. All these evildoers, they crush your people. Yahweh, they oppress your heritage. They kill widows and strangers and murder the fatherless. Those are the social classes that we're talking about. That's what an evildoer does. So the Most High is saying, don't be an evildoer. Don't be like these people. And the way that they're doing is with their words. If you notice, he said they pour out insolent words. See, words will bring you to your actions. See, the Torah portion is about what Yah says and what he sees as upright. Then there's also things in there that tells us what we need to do and what we should not say. In your Torah portion, it said, well, how did these other people worship their gods? Let's figure out how they did it, and then we'll do it too. He says, don't be like that. Don't do me like that. They crushed the people of Yahweh. These people of Yahweh are the widows, the strangers, and the fatherless. That's what they do. And they crush them like you would brown out some powder or incense. When it talked about they oppress, I highlight that word oppression because it has to do with that word anan, which has to do with the ayin. Remember I said to look a certain way? A person that is oppressed is the one who's always having that look in their face. They're the ones who are being humiliated. So he's saying that these people are doing it, and these are the ones that the Most High is still continuing in chapter number 94, that Yah is going to judge these people. And this is what they say. Yah isn't looking. The Elohim, or the God of Jacob, won't notice. That's what they're saying. They don't see that Yah, they're saying that Yah doesn't see. They think God, the God of Jacob, is just a God like their gods. They don't think that he sees. They don't think that he hears. They think that he's plastic or wood or metal like them. You see, so what he's telling us is the gods that the nations are serving and the strangers who's in charge of us right now, if they understood Yah, they would know that he does see and he does take notice. They would know that he's living. They would know that their actions are going to require judgment. They would know that doing something to the widow, the stranger, and the fatherless will get me killed. They would know that. So again, Yah's showing us again that the gods that they serve, they don't think that are alive. They know they're not alive. That's the hustle. That's the game. That's why they keep doing what they're doing, because they don't have to be responsible for their actions. This is the reason why our ancestors came on a ship called the Good Lord Jesus. The ones who took us over here, beat us and rape us and knock your teeth out your mouth were Christians. They believed in the Bible. The ones who have declared you to be 3/5 of a person, of a human being, they were Christians and they had the Holy Spirit. The same people that fed you the filth that you so love today, house of Israel, are the people that worship the God of the New Testament. The same ones that rob you and take your houses, those same ones that oppress you, the same ones who shoot you down and kill you in the streets, is the same ones that are Christians. The same ones who are running your government are the same ones that are Christians. And the God that they serve, he can't hear and he can't see. He's just an image that they like. It's an idea. But this is what Yahweh says. Take notice yourselves, you boors among the people, you fools. When will you understand? Yahweh uses some hard language, isn't he? First, he calls his people brainless and stupid, and then he turns around and calls these people fools. When will you understand? Will the one who planted the ear not hear? Will the one who formed the eye not see? Will the one who disciplines nations not correct them? Will the teacher of humanity not know? Yah hears and he sees and he knows. Yahweh knows that people's thoughts are merely a puff of wind. He knows that. I told you earlier this week that to know or to understand and to be able to see something is to know what Yahweh sees, and to know Yah and to understand what his perspective is. Yes, sister, it is. The letters of Paul are the Babylonian system. Yah knows. They had here in English, he understands. No, Yah, yada, he knows. What does it mean to know? Yah says that he's so intimate. And to know means like a husband knows his wife. Intimacy. Yah wants to be intimate. Okay, but he knows intimately. He knows humanity. He knows that the way that they think is merely a puff of wind. So what you think is what you speak. And you're only speaking about something that you saw with your eyes. So Yah's telling you that he knows that humanity themselves, that they're nothing but a puff of wind. What they think, remember he said, my ways are not your ways and my thoughts are not your thoughts. He's letting us know right there to guess what? When I say something, if I want to send down the rain and the snow, I do, and it has a result. He's saying that these people are talking and it's nothing but a puff of wind. It's absolutely nothing. There's nothing that's going to, that can actually change. They think by what they're doing is going to change my mind about what I'm going to do. I'm going to judge them. But happy is the man. How happy the man whom you correct, Yah. Remember, Yah is the teacher of humanity. Yah corrects man, whom you teach from your Torah, giving him respite from days of trouble till a pit is dug for the wicked. I highlight this word happy, how happy the man. That word right there is not a regular man. That's not a man of, Adam. That's not the Aleph, the Dalet and the Mem. It's not this. He's not talking about this in particular man. He's not talking about that man. Neither is he talking about Ish, which is a man. He's not talking about a man like that one, the Ish. This man that he's talking about is a Gavura, okay, or a Gabar. A Gabar is a warrior, someone who's strong, somebody with might. And guess what, ladies? He ain't just talking about a man. He's talking about a woman too. He's talking about somebody who has mastered themselves and they can master others. Oh, hear what he's saying to us today. He's talking about a gavur. That's what he's talking about. And if you want to make that gavur, that man, somebody powerful, the same man that's powerful can turn and you put a on it to make it a gavura. And she herself can be a master, which is called a mistress, one who masters. One who masters another is one who has mastered themselves. So happy, which that word happy there is called asher, going back to the one who is straight from the word yashar. So the one who is straight is the strong person, the warrior, whom Yah will correct. Yah does not correct the person who is weak, who won't have the fortitude or the mind or the desire or the bravery or the willingness or the heart or the strength to be able to say, I need to be corrected. Only a strong man or woman will take correction from Yah. It's only the strong man or woman that will succeed. It's only the strong man or woman that can teach their children. It's only the strong whom Yahweh will give the Torah to. You wonder why these people out here won't learn the Torah? Because they're weak. The Most High asked the children of Israel to go into the land and take possession of it. No, we can't. They're bigger than we are. The cities are big and they're huge. Too much. We can't do it. The strong person, man or woman, will stand up in the face of adversity and it will allow Yah to correct them. And after he corrects us, he then teaches us the Torah and says, you've made your mistakes, like he told us today. You've been in those churches and those synagogues and on those storefronts, and you thought I was there. You made a mistake. Because now you've diminished and you've allowed these men to minimize my righteousness and my holiness. Don't you ever walk in another place that says that my name is there, because they're not. You're better off sitting down at Froster Freeze having a milkshake and just spending time with me reading your word than to go somewhere and say that I'm there. I'm going to give the person who follows the Torah rest. I'm going to give you rest from your troubles. Remember, I told you I woke up and I was sad after I read the Torah portion yesterday. I had sorrow in my heart because I felt as if I had no connection. I felt as I don't have an offering of Olah. I don't have the tithes. I don't have the land. I don't have the ability to show mercy and compassion to the widow and the fatherless, according to what you said, Yah. I don't have the place where you go to the Makom and worship you there, Yah. I don't have the offering to bring for the Pesach, Yah. I don't have the Shavuot, Yah. I don't have the Sukkot, Yah. What am I doing? And I feel sorrowful. I feel like I don't have any rest because I'm faced in trouble all the time. But you got to be strong, and you're going to have to look at what Yah says. You got to remember that Yahweh says, I will not desert his people. He will not abandon his heritage. Justice will once again become righteousness. And all the yashar, all the upright, all those who live a straight life in their minds will follow it. Not what you and I perceive in our own eyes, to be upright. It's what justice is judgment will become righteousness again. And because you're shaping your mind and your heart to be straight, to walk on Yah's paths, the Yah says you'll follow it because you've been corrected by Yah. In conclusion, there's a promise that Yah wants you to know today. The promise is that only keep your eyes opened and you will see how the wicked are punished. Open your eyes. Pethak anayim Yahweh. Open our eyes so that we can see, so that we can behold how the wicked are punished. For you have made Yahweh. And before I read this, I want to tell you this is where I found my comfort. I found my comfort in this text this morning because I didn't understand what did Yah want me to see. But I'm going to show you why I found comfort in this text. It says, for you have made Yahweh, Yod-Heh-Wah-Heh, the Most High, who is my refuge. Now, chapter number 91 of the book of Tehillim is the book of Psalms. Moshe is telling this. Chapter number 90 and 91 go together. They just put the divisions of chapters there, but it's still Moshe telling them. This is something he said before he died. He said, who is my refuge? Yah, he says, Yah, who is my refuge? Your dwelling place. You have made Yahweh, the Most High, who is my refuge, your dwelling place. This is what Moshe said. No disaster will happen to you. This is from the man who went to go get Israel. No calamity will come near to your tent. This is the man who said that no dog barked at Israel and their animals when they left. For he will order his malakim to care for you and guard you wherever you go. They, who the malakim, will carry you in their hands so that you won't trip on a stone. This is what Yah says through Moshe to us to tell us that you've made Yah your refuge. Like he says, he's my refuge, but now you've made him your dwelling place. I thought to myself, I said, why is it that Moshe said this? What is the connection between this and the Torah portion? And I found it. Before I go into this game that I put here for us, I want you to understand something. You and I may not have a place that we can go to. You may not have a synagogue that has Yah's name for real there. You may not go and hear the Most High himself speak. You might hear men talk to you. And Yah was very specific about the place where he would set his name, not places, but place. You and I can make Yahweh our dwelling place. So my sorrow was turned into joy. My tears that I had about how bad I felt because I'm not able to go to Yah's place was resolved with tears of joy that says that Yah is my dwelling place. I don't have to go to a building while I'm in my exile. I have been corrected by Yah, and I have chosen Yah to be my dwelling place. As he was a refuge for Moshe when he ran into trouble, he is our dwelling place. That's where the comfort is that the place that Yah wanted Israel to go was for them to establish the relationship with him And what Yah has done with us is I brought you to the places where I brought you, and I'm going to test you to see whether or not you want me to be your dwelling place. I want to see if you're willing to not go to different buildings and different places of worship so you can really find me. That way, you will never make the mistake of somebody telling you something different than what I said. Stop going to places where people have all these different ideas about what the Most High has said. Make Yah your dwelling place. That's where your comfort is. I've color-coded all these different words up here. There's 7 of them, okay? And each one is a word that's down in bold, down beneath in English. So my question is, we're going to do a guessing game. The words that are bold is one is called for you. And then the next one is, and then you see I got it light that says have, but this have right here is like a smoke gray. It's not in bold and it's light. So these words right here are not words that are in the 7 words. Okay, they're not. But these other ones are. So which one of those words up here, what color is the one for Yahweh? Somebody tell me.
Blue.
There you go.
Dark blue.
Yes, the dark blue, Yohe-Wahe, correct. That's one right here is Yohe-Wahe. That's Yahweh. Okay. And you can see those letters, the Y, the H, the W, and the H. All those are is Hebrew letters for transliterating to English letters. Perfect. So you can see that, but also too, you can count the number of the letters. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Most High. Who wants to get out a shot? What color? Most High.
Guess purple.
Purple. Are you saying these over here?
Just the color.
Oh, just the color. Okay. No, well, it's actually color coded the actual words. The actual word for Most High is going to be here, Elyon. Okay. Elyon. Okay. So how would you remember that? Well, the way that you remember is by this sound called Elyon, because that's how you say Most High in English. I mean, in Hebrew, excuse me. So one way that you can remember that Elyon or this sound right here is these 2 letters right here. Okay. The first one is an ayin, which means what? Somebody say it for the sister. That's an I. That's what it means. Okay. And the next letter is a lamed, which is called a lamad, which is a staff. So one is the I, another one is a staff. And so what you have to do for Elyon is you have to see the staff. I'm writing with my finger because my pen is not working. So you have to see the staff. That's what Elyon is. And he's the authority. So to see the staff is the one who's in authority, the one who you can look at to give you the direction that you need, which is the Most High Yah. Okay. And if you haven't ever taken the class, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. We're learning here. Okay. So to see the staff is Elyon. Okay. Because the Most High is the one with the staff in his hand. Okay. Somebody tell me. So we got those off. Those words are done. Let's talk about dwelling place. What color up at top?
That like a light green?
Yes, light green. All right, one of the clues that you can have here is that it was the last word in the sentence, and we're reading from right to left, so all the way, and here's the last word in the sentence. Okay. What's interesting about this word is, what letter is this one?
Iron.
That's the ion, and the ion represents what?
I.
Sounds like I. Thank you. And then we have another letter, which is the noon right there, right? And the noon is what? It means a seed. The I seed, or the I of continuance. So within this word, you got the word dwelling place. So when we woke up this morning, when we started our lesson today, we talked about the ayin, okay, right, or the on. Remember, we talked about that. That was one of our Hebrew words that we learned today. It means that a continuance, right? The I continues. So when you say the Yah is your dwelling place, you can see that the word ayin is in there. The idea of Yah is in here, of these letters right here. Okay. So Yah is your dwelling place, meaning that he is the one who is constantly watching you. So when you make Yah for you have made Yahweh the Most High, who is my refuge. That's what Moshe said. He's my refuge. You made him your dwelling place. You've gotten to a place with him where he's constantly watching you now. Why is Yah constantly watching you? Remember, agriculturally, the man or the woman is constantly watching what? They're watching their fields. They're watching their cattle. They're watching what? Their tent. What are they watching? They're watching everything that's what? They're watching everything that is important to them. Everything that means something to them. Everything that has value. Do you understand? So when you say that Yah is your dwelling place, you make Yah your refuge, you now become back of value, because remember, I told you earlier, the Yah says, I'm going to change your status to make you worthless. You're going worthless. I'm going to kualala you. I'm going to make you worthless if you go against what I'm saying. Now that you and I are doing what he said, I'm going to change your status, and now I'm going to watch over you, and you're not going to be valueless to me. You're going to be valuable. Okay? That's what Yah is doing. The word made. Someone take a guess? What color? So let me scratch out the one so you'll know where we are. Get rid of this. And then we'll just keep going in process of elimination.
Probably red at this point.
Hold on. Let me see. We got rid of this one. We got rid of this one. And we got rid of this one. All right. So what'd you say, Lucas?
The red one.
Sweet.
Sweet.
It is actually this one right here. Okay. And this one is called Samta. Okay. And Samta means that not only did you made, but you have set Yahweh as somewhere for you to be your dwelling place. You've set it. You set him aside to say, this is my place. To place something. So what did you set and what did you place? Well, you placed your mind. You have placed your love and your affection and your desire on Yah. That's why he's now your dwelling place. You started looking towards him. And because you look towards him, he says, I'll look towards you. But it's something that you had to do. Because Yah wants us to love him, right? So you've said that. Okay, good. So we have 3 letters left. Okay, so I got rid of this one. I got rid of this one. I got rid of this one. And I got rid of this one. Okay, so we have my refuge, which is one word. And then we have for and in you. So for is the beginning of the sentence. What word is it? What color? Or which one? or yeah, for you. Let's do them together. What's for you?
Yata.
Yeah, ki ata. Yes. Ki ata. For you. Okay, talking about you individually. Ata in English would be A-T-T-A-H. That is a pronoun or a second person. You, I'm talking to you. Okay, that's what Moshe is doing. He's talking to you. So that's off the board. That's off the board. And last one is my refuge, which is this one right here. Moxe. Moxe is a place that you go to go and hide. And why do you need to hide? Why did you need to hide? Why would you go hide somewhere, a refuge? Why would you go take refuge somewhere?
To get
Hmm?
away from the enemy.
Thank you. So usually when you have to go to a moxe, okay, you're going there because you have to hide from your enemy. And that's because you are, you're not safe. So while you're in your exile, you have to find and make Yahweh the Most High, Elyon, your moxe, my refuge, your place where you hide from the enemy. He's your dwelling place now. This is where you're going to find your comfort while you're in exile. So you're not going to find your comfort in a church because your enemies are in the church. You're not going to find them in a synagogue because those are your enemies too. You're not going to find them in all these different places because they're there too. The enemies of Yah are the ones who are not saying what Yah said. They're the ones who are telling you that you are, a Leviim. They're telling you that you can bring offerings. They're telling you that you could do this, you could do that, and they're going against what the Most High said. So that's why he's telling us to be careful. Okay. So here it tells us too that you will tread down lions and snakes and young lions and serpents you will trample under your foot, going along with what he says about after he's made these people your you found refuge in him, right? Then he says, and here's the conclusion, he says, because he loves me, I will rescue him. Okay, so the only reason why Yah is going to rescue is because he loves me and because he knows my name. I will protect him. He will call on me and I will answer him when he is in trouble. I will extricate him and bring him honor, and I will satisfy him with long life and show him my salvation. It's because he loves me, and it's because he knows me. He knows my name. And when he talks about knows my name, your name is your character. So when you say that you know the Most High, it's not because they know Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh that he's going to save them. He's going to save and protect them because they know his character, the character of his name, which goes along with the words that he said. So if you live in a way that proves that you love Yah, you haven't turned to worship other idols, and it's because you love his name, which his name is associated with his words and his Torah and his instructions, Mishpatim, Kukim, Shabbats, the way that he sees things. Yah guarantees, I'm going to rescue, I'm going to protect, I'm going to answer, I'm going to extricate, bring him honor, and satisfy him with long life and show him. So look at all these different benefits that one is going to get because they know Yah's character. Rescue, protect, I will answer. When you're in trouble, because you're going to be in trouble. And that's when Yah shows up and that's when he shows out. I will extricate him and bring him honor. I'm going to bring you back. I'm going to establish your status again, back to where you were. And I will satisfy him with long life, not eternal life, long life, and show you're going to be able to see Yahweh's salvation, not by him hanging somebody, dangling from a cross, begging for help, and he doesn't answer. Because if you think about this right here, go ask a Christian or anybody else, and I want to show you this before you leave. Did he rescue Christ? No. Did he protect him? No. Did he answer him when he was on the cross, when he was in trouble? No. Did he extricate him? No. Did he bring him honor? Nah, they said he did. He didn't. I will satisfy him with long life, and I'll show him my salvation. He didn't show him anything. But Yah's talking about the individual who loves him and who knows the character of his name, which is his Torah. And with that, I'll say Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Praise be to the living Elohim. Yes, Azania, because he knows my name, i.e., they're not calling on JC. They're not calling on him. They're calling on the Most High. Any contributions? Any questions anyone may have?
It's a good session today. A couple things actually. One was in your earlier sessions in the week there, you made a really good observation about Yah's tests being not for him to know if he loves us, but for us to know that we love him. That was really quite profound, and I loved that.
Yes.
The other thing I noticed though in this particular portion, which was interesting and kind of kept coming to the back of my head, was through all of the mentions about the eating of the animals, it was always like there was a whole bunch of references about making sure you don't eat the blood, and there was even an explicit reference about when you're making the burnt offerings about putting the meat and the blood up, but not once through that entire section was not eating fat included, which was odd. Given where it is temporally in the timeline about not eating fat. So how does that play in? That was kind of interesting.
Well, remember in different times, I mean, like, for example, in the book of Leviticus, he gives you the breakdown, I believe in chapter number 11, and then some other chapters where he talks about it. But one of the things he was trying to make very clear to them is about this blood. Like, when you pour it out, you pour it like water when you're at your place. But when you bring your offering to the Most High, because he's like, you guys don't eat it, because that must have been something that was part of what these other people were doing. They were eating and drinking blood. That was something that people don't like to talk about, but that's what they were doing. So the reason why the fat is not mentioned is simply because in context, he's referencing what you're doing at your house or your home or within your gates. And then when they got to the tabernacle itself, when the priest would have to officiate, they would be responsible for making sure that fat wasn't there. But more specifically, he was saying, look, when you eat this stuff, don't have its blood, because again, he makes reference to the soul is inside of the blood. But that's the only thing I can see. Like, he's just, expounding on what they've been taught. It wasn't like they didn't know it, but he's just putting more emphasis, because he's, like you said, he kept just mentioning over and over and over again about the blood.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So what you'll see in the Torah, sometimes you might see a piece of something that you saw somewhere else. And then, of course, we have to ask the Most High, like, okay, well, why is that? Why did you not mention the fat here? And it might have something to do with the Hebrew name of fat. I don't know. I got to look at that. That's a good one. That's a nice observation, though. Praise Yah. Anyone else?
Yeah. Okay. You can go ahead, sis.
Thank you. I also wanted to say it was a really good teaching this Sabbath, and I wanted to add some more to what you said, Akika David, when you commented and you said that we should make Yah our dwelling place. Yah himself told one of the prophets, I'm not too sure if it's Isaiah or Jeremiah, that when Israel was actually going into Babylon, he told them that he will be a sanctuary for us in Babylon.
Yes.
So it's not any mortal, building, but so we will find sanctuary within him.